Shake Table Lab by Mia Jo and SarahMae Tui. Before Mia and I started building, we had to make a plan. We decided we wanted to do minimum height for each story, which is 18 centimeters each, and we wanted a 16 centimeter base. Mia and I did that because we think the straws are less likely to bend if the tower is shorter. The first thing we did when we started building was make a foundation. The foundation is the most important part because it supports the weight. We tried to make the foundation as sturdy as possible, so we taped 2 straws together instead of just using one. Architects made a new code that said we had to bolt straws under the cardboard and attach them to the foundation. Mr. C drilled holes into the corner of the cardboard so we could poke the straws through. When we did that, we made sure the part of the straw that's on the bottom was as flat as possible. After we finished building the second story, we had to make sure none of the straws would break when we put the weight on. We attached X's on each side to make it straight and sturdy. Mia and I chose X's because it can support all the sides in the square. The building code was once again updated, and it said that we needed a roof at least 11 centimeters above the second story. We were given 17 extra straws to make the roof. We decided to make the roof using paper and use the leftover straws to make the tower stronger. Mia and I taped 4 straws to the foundation 11 centimeters higher than the second story. Finally, we attached the paper to make an arc at the top. After we finished construction, we took the final measurements. None of the measurements are the same as our original plan. The base is 19 centimeters instead of 16 centimeters. The first floor is 19 centimeters instead of 18 centimeters. The second story is 24 centimeters instead of 18 centimeters. And we added a 19 centimeter roof, which wasn't even in our plan. To make sure our building was strong and wouldn't collapse quickly, we put 2 weights on each floor. As soon as the weights were on, we checked to see if anything was bending or broke. Fortunately, everything was fine and nothing moved or bent. After that, we felt pretty confident about our building. So Mia and I could ensure that our tower would do well, we strengthened the sides by adding a straw in the middle of the X's. Also, we built extra supports in for each level. We did this using the leftover straws from the roof. The tower's strongest parts are the supports in the basement holding up the first floor. The first floor is very sturdy and won't collapse too quickly because of all the supports. We have supports in the middle and on each side, so all of it is strong instead of only one part being strong. The weakest parts are the 2 straws, each holding a side of the second story up. The straws are weak because it is coming from the center, which will put more pressure on the first floor. Also, because it is only 1 straw and not 2 straws taped together, the straws are more likely to bend. Tape was one of the most important parts of the building. Mia and I used a lot of tape when we connected the X's and when Mia and I put 2 straws together. We didn't have any rat's nests, which was very hard to prevent. To make the floor and the roof, we got paper. Paper was surprisingly helpful. Using it allowed us to use less straw for the roof and use it for other things. Once we finished building our tower, we put it on the shake table. After it was on the table, Mr. C added sandbags to each floor and shook the table. Before the tower collapsed, it was super wobbly and had 12 sandbags on it.
Building inspector. Major earthquake. Richter scale.
When we put 14 sandbags on the tower, it was clear it would collapse. Our tower was shaking drastically. After around 5 seconds, it fell. After the earthquakes, we got an XYZ graph. Z represents up and down motion. When the tower was shaking, it bounced. After it crashed, the tower stopped bouncing and the graph went down. X represents the tower going back and forth. Even though the tower was shaking, it wasn't going back and forth until it crashed. When the tower collapsed, it went forward, causing the graph to get higher. Finally, Y represents the side-to-side motion. The tower was shaking a lot, and then when it collapsed, Mr. C stopped shaking the table, so the tower stopped shaking completely. Hi, I'm SarahMae Tui, and I'm going to talk to you about a project I recently did with my partner Mia Jo. We made buildings that would support sandbags during an earthquake. It was really fun. We supported 14 sandbags. I'm pretty proud considering it was made of only tape, construction paper, and straws. I learned that you need a lot more support than you would ever think you would, and it takes longer than you would think. Our building collapsed on the first floor. It collapsed because there wasn't enough structure on the first floor, and the pressure from the second floor and the first floor sandbags was too much for it to handle. My favorite part of this was working with my partner Mia Jo. I really enjoyed having fun with her, and I really enjoyed hearing her perspective of how to improve the building, and I think really helped. Changes I could have made is to more support on the first floor and to tape things better, because their tape fell off in the X's, and that's kind of what started to make it collapse. Overall, I think the project was really fun, and I'm happy I did it.
My name is Mia Jo, and recently I did a project with my partner SarahMae, which was building a building which was strong enough to undertake an earthquake. Our building supported 14 sandbags and fell on 16, which I think was pretty good considering it was built by straws and tape. I think the building failed on the crosses because the tape fell off on the part which was connected to the building. If I would have changed things for my building, I would have taped my X's better, and I would have put more support on both floors since they weren't supported as much as needed. Making this earthquake-proof building, I learned that the crosses are very important for the making of the building. The best part of building was having fun with SarahMae while focusing on building and working hard. Thank you.